Hi, this is DarkFox127 and welcome to another Skyrim creation kit tutorial video. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at Hearthfire planters. So for those of you that don't know, Hearthfire planters are the planters that you'll be able to craft in the Hearthfire DLC for Skyrim, and you can place various ingredients in there and grow your very own plants, which allows you to get a lot more ingredients from your plants and such than you would when you're out in the wild. So a lot of people have requested this in the past and I decided to finally take a look at it, and it's really not that difficult. It's a pretty simple and quick process. So now we're going to hop into the creation kit and get started. Okay, so this might be fairly obvious to everybody, but I'm just going to state it anyway. If you're going to use the Hearthfire system for your planters, then you are of course going to need the Hearthfire ESM loaded up, as well as the Skyrim ESM and anything else that you're going to use as a master. Your mod will then require Hearthfire as a master, which shouldn't really be a problem because everyone should have all of the DLCs by now, and I'll be very surprised if you don't. So then we can go ahead and double click on the file that I've already got loaded up here. I've already got something set up. This will also be available to download over on my website and my resource page. All the links will be in the description below, so you can also hop into here after you watch the tutorial or even during it, and you can have your own little ESP version of what I'm showing you here today. So that'll be good as a reference to see how it's set up. So we'll go ahead, set that as active file, and you will need Hearthfires. So wait for that to load. Okay, so now that's gone ahead and loaded, I have gone to my very own cell which I created earlier on, which is DF127 test cell planters, and as I said, you can go ahead and hop into this yourself if you go and download the ESP. And I've got two rooms here. Now what I would usually do, and what you are recommended to do, is this would be like your home. Wherever you're putting your planters would be your home, whether it's outside, inside, wherever. And then you would just make an interior cell like the one that I've made here, and this would be for your planter NPCs, because for some reason this system likes to use NPCs as the planters, probably because they can act as sort of living containers, if you like, and I'll show you that in a moment. So basically you're going to have a cell separate. These are together just to make this tutorial a lot easier, but you will have your home, and then in a separate cell like I've got here you'll put your planter NPCs. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my planters. Now I've placed two planters down here. You can technically use whatever you want. The soil is what you put in later on. You can use whatever planters, but these are the common ones that you use. So if you just type in planter in the filter there, go under static, and you've got a number of different planters that you can really use. So any of these really. You can even sort of fit more into that one. I've used that one in my own mod, Corinthia Tower Reborn. But I'm going to use these two planters today, and I'm going to put two in this one and one in here. So to get the soil, I've already got planter in the filter, and I'm going to go under world objects and activator. I've got planter soil there, drag and drop that. A good thing here is we are not going to have to worry about scripts at all. I'm not going to open the script up. I'm not going to see how it works. We're really not bothered. We are just going to use the system from the Hearthfire DLC. But if we do go on here, there are scripts involved, which we're not going to worry about because we don't need to. And I'm going to resize this to what I want. The size shouldn't really matter because the plants being planted on will always look right anyway. They should do. They'll either scale with it or they'll just be plonked on top. So I'll put that in there. And I'm just going to put two more in. Now the reason I'm dragging and dropping and not duplicating is certain things in Skyrim get a little picky, or at least in the creation kit it gets a little picky when you duplicate certain things that you are linking to other stuff. It can sometimes confuse the references. So just to be safe, because we're not working with a lot of these, I just drag and drop each in individually. And I'll go ahead and resize them. This doesn't have to be perfect for this tutorial. There we go, put those in. Now it's also good practice, although you don't need to do this, to name your planters and your planter NPCs. Give them references. It's just easier when you link them together, so you can link 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and so on. So I'm going to give these references. So DF127 ref planter 01, and I'm just going to control and C that. Paste it in there, change it to 2. Paste it in there, change it to 3. Now, next thing we need are the planter NPCs that I talked about. So this is where you'll have your cell separate from wherever you're putting your planters. And this is not really going to be accessible by the player. These are just going to be placed in here. Now, what I do, I just stick them in a little jail cell. And then I just put some nav mesh down so they're not going to move about anywhere. They're going to stay in there. Although you shouldn't really need to do that, but I like to do it anyway. Then I'm going to go under Actor, got Planter under the filter again. And you'll have Build Your Own Home, Planter NPC. Drag and drop them in. Now, don't ask me why the hell they're naked. They just are. And I wouldn't recommend changing these at all, or even making your own. Just leave them how they are. You're not going to have to interact with them. Nobody's going to see them, so it's not a problem. And I'm going to put 2 of these in, so 1 for each planter. And then I'm going to give each of these a reference as well. So this time, planter NPC and the number. Oh, missed it. Underscore that. There we go. So that'll be number 1. That'll be number 2. And that'll be number 3. And now I'm going to simply link them together with a link ref, and the script will do the rest. So I'll double click on 1. Double click on 2. And like I said, because they've got reference names, it's easy to know what I've got selected and what I'm linking to, and I can keep it nice and organized. So I'll go to 1, link ref, double click in that box, select reference in the render window, make sure it's got 1 selected, and just do the same for each of these. Link ref to the NPC that corresponds to the planter. And then I can go ahead and hit save, and it is as simple as that. There is nothing more to it. It's really, really simple. Like I said, don't have to mess with the scripts or anything. And as long as the NPC, planter NPCs are just off in a cell, out of the way, you won't have a problem. And there is no problem with the link ref going from one cell to another. It will work perfectly fine. There's not a problem there. So now we're going to hop in game and we're going to see it working. Okay, so here we are in game, and as you can see, we've got our planters here, and when you activate the soil, it opens up and shows any ingredients that we have that we can place inside. And it'll work for each of those. Activate there, and put one in. It says item planted. And you even see that the soil moves up a little bit. Item planted. And do that for each. And then all you have to do is go away and come back later on. And just before I go ahead and do that, I am just going to show you that other room. They literally just stand in the cell and do absolutely nothing. So you really don't need to worry about them. So this is the cell where you would just have your planter NPCs, and they would be linked to your planters, which are wherever you want them to be. So now I'm just going to wait around. I'm going to pop to Riverwood and come back, and we should see that our plants have grown after a few days. Okay, so I went to Riverwood, wandered around, waited 3 days and came back, and as you can see, my planters have provided me with some nice plants here. I can harvest them, and I can even clear out the planter. I can pretty much do the usual stuff that you can do with the Hearthfire planters. And it's as simple as that to get them into your very own mod. So that is the end of this tutorial video. I hope you found it useful. Please let me know in the comment section below. You can also follow me on my social media. Facebook's where I post most of my stuff. I also have a Steam group if you want to catch my Twitch streams live, and you can go ahead and follow me on Twitch. I do have a sort of schedule set up on there now, which all the details can be found on the page. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.